Okay, I'm going to show you how to do path animation, okay? And I've already created a project for this and I've saved it as Heavy Path. This is the name of this character. You can do this with any character. I've just picked this guy. I've got a run cycle, but you can do it with any cycle. So before I start, I'm just going to show you a few things. I've got this all already, I've got my layout. So I've got this guy running. And I'm just going to, before I deal even with him, I'm going to turn these lights off. Show, where is it? Cameras. So before I even start with him, I'm just going to show you a little bit about what path animation is normally. So I'm going to go into the orthographic top view, and I'm just going to turn this grid off, and I'm just going to make turn the cameras off. I know I've seen these orthographic cameras, a bit annoying. And I'm just going to make a path. So to make a path, I go into the modeling one here, and I'm going to go to the curve tool, curves. And actually, no, I'm not going to go to curves. I'm going to go to create curve tools. Sorry, create curve tools. And there's different ones here. And the one I'm going to use, you can use CV curve or EP curve tool. I tend to use the EP curve tool. I tend to use it for whatever reason. And I'm going to use, so I'll just go curve tool, EP curve tools. That's in the create menu. I'm just going to show you, typically how path animation looks. So I'm going to make a curve. So I just left mouse click, left mouse click, left mouse click, left mouse click, left mouse click. Okay, so this is my curve, and I can press enter, and it goes green, and you've made a curve, and it comes in on the 0 axis, but it's a curve. You can pick the curve up if I the center point in the curve's here. It's always in the center, but look, I can move the curve up or down. I'll move it up a bit just so you can see, and then I'm going to put something on this curve. So I'm going to create a polygon primitives sphere. I'll make it a bit bigger, yeah, so you can see it, and I'm going to also change its color to a red. And let me see, is that, oops, no, not that. I've changed everything to red, so I'm going to have to change that. I'm going to make a new, it's just changed everything to that color, so I'm going to make a new, I'm going to go in and make a new Maya. I'm going to take a Lambert, so I'll make a separate red, this one here. I'll make this red, click on this, pick a red, and then I'm going to pick this, and then I'm going to right click on this and assign to selection, so I've got a red ball, so it's nice and visible. Okay, so in its simplest terms, what path animation is I select the ball, and I select the path. Actually, what I'm going to do, just so you can see something else, because it's difficult to see in a ball, this can also orientate itself to the path. So I'm going to change this slightly. I'm going to take this ball, and I'm going to use this scale tool, just so it's obviously not the same everywhere. It's not this uniform round shape. So then I've changed this. I click on this. I click on the path, and I go into the animation menu this time here, the animation menu, and I'm going to the constrain button here, and I go to motion paths, and you see it says attach to motion path. Now if I open that up, you can, it's got some, so I'm going to put follow motion path, yeah. And the front axis it's got is the X, so that means the X axis, this one here, the red one, is going to be facing the front. So I press attach or apply. I'll press attach, and then now I have 120 frames in my timeline. This will move along the timeline until 120 frames. Okay, that's what it does. It's move. Don't worry, don't look at him just now. It will just move along it. It will move it, and this is the speed. So presently I've got it speeding up, going at a constant speed, and then slowing down. I mean, of course, like any line, we can change this. We can make this a constant speed throughout, yeah? And you can see it follows the path. It's actually turning as it moves around. You see it? So the X points to the front, yeah? Now, imagine I want to change this path. I want the path a little bit different. Can I change it on the fly with this thing still moving? Well, the thing is I can press F8 and I get these keys on this, and I could take one of these keys and say I want to move it in a little bit. I could pull this out a bit. I could pull this like this. And if I press F8 again, now it will still move. I'll just show you, it's still moving in the same way, but it's moving along the new path. Now, what if I press F8 again? What if I decide to take this end bit here and pull it out? Does that make this travel even longer? I'll press F8 again to get back to object mode, and you can see it actually still follows the path. Yeah? Now, so that's it with an object, most basic form. Now you could imagine you could have a bird flying or a car or something on a path. There are many things you can put on paths. But how about putting, I'm just going to get rid of this path. I'll get rid of this. So how about putting an animated character on a path? Now you might think, well, the easiest thing to do is just put this bottom control, which we have moving forwards, put that on a path. But the problem is that doesn't really work, because in essence the bottom control is not an easy control to get animation on. I'll show you what would happen if I put this on a path. I'm just going to make a path quickly, so I'll just create curves, EP curve tool. I'm going to make a path here like this, press enter, and then I'm going to take this control. Now I'm going to get rid of all the animation on the bottom control, because the animation is going to have to come from this connection to the path. So I'm going to take this off. So presently I've got this animation on, I'm going to get rid of it. So there's no animation you can see on that control, the bottom control. Now what happens if I do the same thing, select the man, the control I want, select the path, and then go constrain motion path, attach to motion path. Okay, well, first of all, initially he's going the wrong way, so first thing I have to do is I have to go constrain motion paths, go into the little, I have to work out which way is his forward. I think his forward is Z. Oh, it's Z, okay. So I go constrain motion paths, attach to motion paths, follow. It's on X just now, it's not what I want. I want it on Z. The up axis is Y, that's good, okay. So I'm going to attach. And now he's facing the right way, but okay, let's have a look at what he actually looks like. I'm going to unclick this so you can see. So, now, even if I get him the right speed, I'll bring this back on again, even if I get him going the right speed, I'm going to have a problem, because when he turns, everything's turning at the same rate. The foot turns at the same rate. So my point is, even if I get the speed right in the straight bits, on the curvy bits, I'm always going to have a problem, because his entire body's turning together at exactly the same time, which isn't really what happens. When you go on the ground, your foot is turning, your foot is this way, the body turns a bit more. Now you probably could animate this in a curve like this, but it would be a lot of work. So I'm going to show you a way of doing this that, even though initially you might think, oh, this is complicated, actually is much easier. So I'm going to get rid of this line here, and I'm going to show you this other way of doing it. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a new path. I'm going to try and get, now when you draw a path, when you're going to animate, so I've got the top view here of my guy. I make sure that there's no animation, that he's just running on the spot. That's the first thing. You don't want any animation on the actual bottom control. the animation will come from the path. So he's running on the spot, perfect, and I have him here. Now what I'm going to do is first of all draw my paths. Now there's two of them. Now there's a ground plane here, which I'm just going to make sure that doesn't, I'm going to put that in a separate layer, and just so I can template it so I don't select it by accident. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to create. Now, because I've used that tool before, you see it's here's a tool recently used. I can pick it here, I can go into create curves, EP curve tool, but I'm going to select it here. Okay, so I'm going to go in, I'm going to make a curve. So we'll start off now. When you do this, this should pass through the middle of the character for this to work. Start a bit behind him, and have it pass through the middle. So I'm going like that. And I'm going to go like this. Yeah, it looks like it's through the middle. I can see it's going through the middle of that control. That's good. And then I'm going to, what am I going to do? I'm going to go come around like this. And then I'll have it going like that. And then I'll have it going like this. Maybe like that. And then like that. Quite a sharp curve. And then like this. It's quite long actually, maybe it won't be as long as that. Anyway, so it's quite a long run. So, and then press enter, and then I'm going to go to the side view. So orthographic, I'll go to the side view. Let's go back a bit. I shall click on this so I can frame this. If I click on this, I can press F in this window, and I've got him kind of framed where I want him. Now I want to duplicate this line and put it up so that it's through the middle of through this waist control. So I'll press Control D, and I'm going to raise this up like this. So I've got two lines now, and that one's going through his waist. So I've got two lines now. If I look at this, you got one on the ground and one on the waist. Now they're the same, yeah? Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to make sure. Now the problem is, I showed you before, when you go to F8 and you try and change these curves, you actually change the size. Now if you want him to run a certain distance, you don't want the size of the curves to change. You want them to be like a piece of string, so that even if you pull a point, you're not extending the, I'll show you what I mean. So if I go to, I'm just going to show you what the difference is. I'm going to go to, if I go to, I'm going to press F8, I'm going to select both of these, press F8, get them both in object mode, and actually before I do that, press F8 again. I'm going to go to modeling, and then you see curves, and I'm going to go lock length. See that at the top? Lock length. Now if I press F8 now, and I pull these two here, see what's happening? The curve, because the length is locked, is like pieces of string. It's not just pulling out here, it's actually affecting the other curves. So you want to lock the length of your curve, because when you get the animation at the right speed, yeah, when you get the animation at the right speed, you want to be, basically, you want your guy to walk or run at the right speed, and I'll show you how you get him to walk and run at the right speed along these curves so his feet don't slip. If these curves, if you don't have lock length on, you will extend these lines, and by extending the line you will throw off the foot, the speed that you've got, because if you make this line longer, for example, if you don't have lock length on, then he will have to run slightly faster to get the end of these lines, which will mean his feet will start to slide again. So to avoid that, you lock the length. Okay, so let's say I like this line. I might push this in a little bit more, and here maybe out a bit more. You can see it's pulling the whole line, and this bit more, and like that, maybe a bit more. Okay, that looks alright. Okay, so we'll go with this. And then I press F8. Now I'm going to put something like a